On an ordinary morning in July 2024, residents of Mukuru Kwanjenga in Nairobi made a horrifying discovery. Inside an abandoned quarry near Quarry, something was floating in the water. At first, many believed it was garbage, but as people moved closer, fear spread through the crowd. It was a human body, then another and another. Soon the entire country was watching. The abandoned quarry, located only a short distance from a police station, had become the center of one of Kenya's most disturbing criminal investigations. Volunteers and local residents began helping retrieve bodies from the water-filled quarry. According to reports, several bodies and body parts were discovered wrapped inside sacks and plastic bags. Many of the victims showed signs of severe mutilation. As news spread across social media and television stations, fear quickly turned into outrage. Who were the victims? Who had placed them there? And how could such a horrifying crime happen in the middle of Nairobi? Human rights groups and community organizations called for urgent investigations. Some organizations also questioned whether the discoveries could be connected to reports of disappearances that had occurred during the same period. However, investigators have continued examining these claims, and no final conclusions have been officially established. As more bodies were recovered, the number of victims continued to rise. Families of missing persons began visiting mortuaries. Parents searched for daughters. Relatives hoped they would not recognize the victims. For some families, those hopes would disappear. The quarry had become a place of grief, a place of fear, and a place filled with unanswered questions. Soon, investigators announced a major breakthrough. Police arrested a man who was allegedly connected to the killings. Authorities stated that the suspect had allegedly confessed to multiple murders, although investigations were still ongoing. The suspect later denied certain allegations through his legal representation, and the case remains surrounded by questions. For many Kenyans, the announcement seemed to provide answers, but for others it only created more questions. Could one person truly be responsible? Were there additional suspects? And what exactly had happened inside the quarry? As investigations continued, the Quer case became even more mysterious. According to authorities, the suspect allegedly confessed to multiple killings. However, legal proceedings and subsequent developments raised additional questions, and the suspect later escaped from police custody under uncertain and circumstances that remain controversial. The escape shocked the country. How could a suspect connected to such a major investigation disappear? Who may have helped him, and would the truth ever be fully known? Meanwhile, human rights organizations, community groups, and activists raised concerns about how the investigation had been handled. Some volunteers who participated in recovering bodies alleged that they had been intimidated or prevented from accessing the site. Rights groups later called for independent investigations into these allegations. There were also allegations that evidence at the quarry may have been compromised. Some witnesses claimed that fires occurred near the scene after the bodies had been discovered. Others questioned whether the crime scene had been properly secured. These claims remain matters of investigation and public discussion. What remains undeniable is the suffering of the victims and their families. Many victims had names, dreams, families, and futures that were never fulfilled. Some families managed to identify loved ones. Others continue searching for answers. Even today, questions remain. Were all the victims identified? Was everyone involved brought to justice? Could more victims still remain undiscovered? And will investigators eventually uncover the full truth? The Quarry bodies investigation became more than a criminal case. It became a national conversation about safety, disappearances, justice, and accountability. For residents of Mukuru Kwanjenga, the abandoned quarry became a place that many would never view the same way again. A place that once blended into the neighborhood had suddenly become a symbol of fear. Some crimes end with answers, others leave behind questions. The Quarry case continues to stand somewhere in between, a mystery that shocked a nation, a tragedy that affected countless families, and a reminder that every victim deserves both justice and the truth, because behind every investigation is a human life, and behind every unanswered question is a family still waiting. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Motion Tales for more true crime investigations, forgotten mysteries, and powerful stories from Kenya and around the world.